Hey everybody, I'm Josh Olive with Haven Comics. It's Thursday night, which means it's time for some shop talk. So stick around after this little intro and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're still here. Looks like you're still here. So let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Couldn't do it without my co-host, my travel buddy, and the guy who helps to make sure that people in line are set straight. What's up, Alan?
Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
We're fighting over who gets their picture up.
So I'm going to be honest about it. We are a few days removed from Farley Con.
Yep.
And I was adamant about not driving up there Friday night. I was just like, I got way too much I got to get done. I need to get this stuff done at the house. My alarm went off at 4 o'clock Saturday morning, and I was mad because I knew it was Saturday morning. I didn't mean my alarm going off that early. Actually, probably about the time I hit Stevenson, the sun was pretty good and up. And I was like, I really don't want to do this. But then as soon as I got there and got around everybody, I had so much fun. I went from driving up there going, I really don't want to do this, to driving home Sunday night going, man, I can't believe it's already over.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Except you made a smarter decision, because driving up Friday, it was great the whole way, right up until you got to those big elevated bridges over the water there with all the signs for Nickajack Dam and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
And that's when this thunderstorm just like lowered and let loose. And the thunder was around you. It wasn't just above you. It was all around you, just like... And lightning is flashing everywhere. You couldn't see squat. And it was like that through the windy, twisty, curvy mountains on I-24 the entire way. So that last 30 miles or so was treacherous. I just got there, jumped out of my car, kissed the ground, was happy that I had made it alive. That was rough. That was among the most terrifying drives I've ever had while I've been out on the road. So going up Saturday morning was a good call. I will say, we knew that Mark was going to be there. Mark had asked us if we could help out. We're like, yeah, sure. And we knew Larry Hama was going to be there. The guy, for anybody who doesn't know, who has been writing G.I. Joe since 1982. Like, wrote our childhood, and he's written us into adulthood and everything else. The dude's amazing. And then a whole bunch of voice actors from G.I. Joe were there, and Sergeant Slaughter was there. So that was pretty intense. It's a small show. If we just start with what is Farley Con, right? It's a small show. Probably 1,500, maybe 2,000 people, generally speaking. Big vendor hall. Not real big, but a good-sized vendor hall. And they have a room for a panel or two. And then they've got all their special guests and things lined out. And it was really heavy on G.I. Joe this year, so it was the perfect year to go. And then Mark Spears, right? So Mark, a little bit of a homebody, I think. He didn't want to get out a whole lot, because every time he leaves the house to go to do a show or go to do a signing somewhere, that's time he can't be working on his comics, right? And so that puts him behind schedule, and that throws everything off. So he tries to limit how many shows he does in a year. And he had decided this is his last show. He's not setting up at any other show in 2025. So it was only announced a few weeks before Farley Con that he was going to be doing this show, and that it was his last show for the year, right? So people showed up There were people who flew in from California, who drove here from Arizona, who drove here from Texas, who flew down from Pennsylvania. Actually, some people drove from Pennsylvania.
There was one family that drove from Michigan.
Yeah, yeah. Um, to this real small little show. It's a really well done show, but it's on the small side. And these people just crammed into the place. So Mark had told us, like, he is thinking in his head, because I still don't think he's got it fully in there, that he is as big a name as he is, right? That people will travel like that to come see him. So he was like, I think it's going to be a pretty quiet show. We're going to get to hang out, goof off, do all this stuff, right? Well, we pull into the venue Saturday morning, and there was a line of people out the door lined up waiting to get in, because we were there well before the doors opened to the public, so, or to the VIPs who get in earlier than the rest of the folks. So we go in, we're getting set up, and there's already a line of vendors who were in there set up. They were already in the line waiting for Mark to get there. Lord knows how long they had been standing there. But we got in, like, expecting to get our bearings and have a few minutes to kind of like get the lay of the land and all that stuff. And that's not what happened, was it?
No, it was like we walked in the door to questions. How many you could buy of which? Walked in the door. I mean, how much this cost? How much that cost? I mean, it was. So as far as the con itself is concerned, it was one of those cons that I've always wanted to go to, because I've heard it's just like this really cool con, but I've never gone to it.
Hey, hang on a sec. Look who we got in the house.
What up?
We got a wild Bianca sighting. What's happening, Bianca? Hope all is well. Hope you are doing tremendously. Hope you're not just like boiling in the humidity in Florida.
I will be down your direction in a couple of months. Yes, I will. I got to go check out the House of Mouse.
You're also checking out the other house.
Yeah, I'm checking out the other house too. Yes, Nathaniel, we are talking about Farley Con. I've heard a lot about it, and I've always wanted to go, but I never have, because it's generally, it's 2 hours from the house. So there's really no point in getting a hotel room. But Mark wanting us to help out with his booth this year, it gave the perfect excuse. I will say I 100% believe that if you want to go check out Farley Con, you need to check that show out. It was really cool. I enjoyed our time there. I liked the setup. Mm-hmm. It had some great vendors. You had some really good comic booths, but you also had some excellent toy booths. And I'm talking literally specialized toys you haven't heard of, you hadn't seen in 30 years. I mean, I was really impressed with the toy side of it, as just as much as everything else. And the prices were really good. I didn't really see anybody that was, way overpriced. And I mean, I think that next year y'all should definitely get up. It's one of those, especially if you live in
Chattanooga. It's an easy drive.
Yeah, you can be, and I mean, it's literally you go through Chattanooga, hit 75 south, and the second you hit 75 south, you're getting right back off of 75. And then you can, I think the show closed at 6. You could have been home by 8. I was pleasantly surprised to turn around and see Mike Wazlowski standing there.
That was great, wasn't it?
That was great. I was not expecting to see him standing there, and I mean, it was cool seeing him. Saw several familiar faces. I mean, it was just a ton of fun. But Mark's line Saturday,
not at this show, Matt. Prices were pretty reasonable.
Yeah, they were. I saw prices on there that. Even like say G.I. Joe Classified series, I would say like Shipwreck. You could walk into just about any Walmart in the country and grab Shipwreck, and like for $24. I think at the show it was like $26, $27. So I mean, it wasn't a bad markup on that stuff.
Nick, you're right. We missed out on a relaxing weekend. That's true. But we had an awesome weekend, which you did not.
So I hung out with your brother for a little while Saturday, Nick, and I guarantee you he had more fun with us Saturday than he's going to have with you this coming Saturday.
That's a true statement.
In fact, I mean, if you go back and look at all those text messages, he's even meeting up with us this Saturday. That's how much he enjoys seeing us.
If he takes video of what Nick is doing on Saturday, then he might get a good laugh. Man,
that's ominous.
That's not cool, bro. I don't have any idea. No idea.
But no, it was good seeing everybody. Like I said, Mark's line was insane Saturday.
When they opened the doors for VIPs, that line filled up and it never went down.
Yep.
And that was at 9:30 in the morning. That line was solid and slow because there were so many people. Yes, he did. And sort of. For the first half of the day, that's accurate. The second half of the day, no. And I'll tell you why. Let's start with some context, though, right? So Mark's got this booth set up, and he has 6 exclusives for Farley Con. Those exclusives were much sought after. Everybody wanted that, right? Well, we're set up. These people are coming in the line, and we're selling books. But we never had the time to really set things up and organize everything because everything was just happening so fast, and there were so many people in line by the time we got there, and by the time we got into the building. So things were a little bit chaotic just at that particular moment. It took us a little bit of time to stop the presses. We've got to fix this and get that moving. But like I said earlier, Mark thought we were going to just get to sign some stuff and they were going to get to hang out and chit chat and goof off. And that was not the case. There were 12 people working the booth. In case you didn't see, Kaylisa, Bianca's in here, so that's awesome. It's it makes a good day every time. But there were 12 people working that booth, and we needed every single one of them. Every single one of them. It was insane. But as the day was going on and people were standing in line and the line was taking a while and some people's tempers were getting a little bit short and some people thought that because they had come a long way to get here that earned them some kind of a special privilege in the line. So some people were feeling a little bit salty and a little bit entitled. And Alan put that one dude down pretty quick.
I wasn't a jerk about it. I mean,
you weren't.
But
he also he pulled up after that, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was cool after that. But I mean, I just gave him the attitude he gave me. It's just, plug your ears, kids. My smart ass comment was better than his smart ass comment. So, So what got me about the
I think you can share the comment. It wasn't that was that egregious.
Well, he literally had an attitude and he goes, I flew from California. And I went, so I drove from Alabama. And just stared at him this was my thing on it. And I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody.
No.
Everybody that's been in the comic book industry for a while, we all understand how the game was played. But in my mind, if you showed up with 50 to 75 comic books that you brought from home for him to sign, we know what was happening with those comics. But at the same time, and I'm gonna specifically point out one family, and Josh is going to know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yep.
There was a family in line, a family of 4. Every single one of them had on Mark Spears Monsters t-shirts. The little girl had her face painted like Dracula and the fake blood right there.
Yep.
They had maybe 5 books. I'm sorry, but that little girl that took the time to paint her face and then waited patiently in line to get an autograph on a comic book that she obviously loves, to me, is more important than the flipper.
100%.
So, and there were a couple of times where I was just like, hey, dude, look, you got like 30 books you're getting signed over here. They got 2 and it's a family. Let's get them out of the way right quick. And the flippers were cool about it. They're like, oh, no, I mean,
when you phrase it that way, they're cool with it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a long line and everything. And there in the beginning, people were a little frustrated, but once we got in a groove, I mean, it turned into a really cool time.
Mike, I have your sketchbook with the Guy Dorian sketch. I'll be bringing that to the shop on Saturday. So I'll put it in your box, or if you come around, that'd be great.
And I have seen that sketchbook, and I have seen that female Robin, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Because it's amazing.
If I can get a copy,
you just want to have it. That was incredible. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Mike. We had to like see what all you got there. That's a heck of a sketchbook.
That is an awesome sketchbook.
I love that it's all DC characters in the DC book. That Huntress was awesome. The Robin was awesome. Yeah, it was really, 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 really cool. But we're going to bring that up Saturday.
But no, I think you're 100% right, Bianca. I mean, if you show up at a show and you've got a brown cardboard box full of books, and I understand you're paying for these signatures. I understand you waited in line 8 hours to get all this stuff signed. But to me, like I said, that kid that took the time to paint their face and specifically asked about characters in the book, that kid's a little more important. You're going to get your eBay listing. Calm down. We're going to get you there. Just give us a minute. Let's get to this kid and let them kind of have their moment.
Yeah, especially because Mark typically uses the paint pens, and those things take forever to dry. And so you've got those set over on the side table, and you got people with fans like trying to dry those off real fast. See, Bianca, every time you come on here, we have a fan club for you up here. I don't know if you know that, but we meet on Tuesdays. Everybody loves Bianca. That's awesome.
We have a fan club. But then, Sunday was steady up until about the last hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of died out. And
we shut it down too.
Yeah, he did shut it down.
We capped the line and shut it down because Mark he wanted to see people at the show too.
Yep.
So that's what we did. And so we shut it down. But I will say the last half of the day, when we kind of reevaluated how we had things set up and how we were moving people through, instead of being like, hey, how many books do you want signed? What colors do you want? What this or what that? Alan was just like, 5 signatures, 5 signatures. Boom. There's no question. If you had something special, you better blurt it out because we're not wasting any time. So we're sliding those books out of bags and boards and we cranked out. We went through the same line that took probably 4.5 hours earlier in the day. That same size line we pushed through in an hour and a half to end the day. But at one point his line was 4.5 hours long, and then in the bleachers on the other side of the entire facility, there was an overflow line that had half again that many people.
Yep.
So when Mark had to go to lunch at some point, he had to stand up, stretch his legs, go get something to eat. We had to give everybody a number, so they could go. We love you, Bianca. You have a great time, and we do still need to bring you on the show so you can do some live sketching, and we'll talk while we watch your sketching just unfold on the page. So we had to give everybody a number so they could come back and take their place back in line. and all that stuff. And then you and I stayed at the booth while Mark was gone and most everybody else was gone, and we kept selling stuff um, while he was gone. And then we prepped the first few people who didn't leave and stayed there in line. Uh, oh yeah, we definitely need more swamp witches for sure, for sure. More swamp witches and more frogs because that was awesome. Um, but we got those people kind of squared away and ready to like start an assembly line kind of a process. So that was moving way faster because we had the prep time, which we didn't get in the morning. We just had no prep time. We just got thrown straight into the fire. But yeah, it was really at that point it was very it moved a lot more in a streamlined fashion. But he pumped through the people, and then with the line.
What? Time out. What books are you talking about, and how many did you have?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there. I'm curious about that. I sent off 3 books to the expo or to CGC after the expo. One of them was a signed book. The other 2 were not. And I got that one back. The Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo exclusive. I got that one back really fast. The unsigned books are still sitting out there somewhere in the ether. I don't know what's taking them so long, but they're still sitting out there. But anyway, I forget where I was now, but we were talking. We were having a good time, and so then Mark came back after lunch, and you and I got to grab something at one point there. I sat there and had lunch across the table from Sergeant Slaughter, and that was just odd. I was like, I don't want to bother the man. This is his break, but I'm 3 feet away from Sergeant Slaughter. What's going on? That was something. But yeah, the line was huge. It went forever, and it was similar to what it was at the expo. Just crazy long. And we did have some families, the family you were talking about, I think they went through that line like 4 or 5 times over the course of 2 days.
Yep.
They just got in line and waited patiently. They would go through, do their, and they would come back and do it again.
And that's actually the family that drove from Michigan.
Yeah, they were super cool. I really liked them. Really liked them. But yeah, the line for Mark was just outrageous the whole time. His popularity has not dropped off one bit.
The thing that got me though was actually Sunday when we went for lunch, and I'm sitting there across the table from this, sweet little old lady and everything, and she's telling me that she's actually telling you.
We're going to get to that.
That the best way to make chocolate chip cookies is with your own homemade brown sugar. And all I'm hearing is Lady J giving me a chocolate chip cookie recipe. But that entire conversation with her was bizarre.
They drove to see Mark.
Yep, they drove
People
to see
flew
Mark.
in from California to see Mark, from Phoenix to see Mark, from Texas to see Mark. Yeah, they came to see Mark.
Yeah, there were a lot of people there that were specifically there to see him.
Yeah, to your point, the voice actress for Lady J from the G.I. Joe cartoon back in the day, she's sitting there, sweet as she can be. She's dressed in, well, trust me,
it was
couldn't
her.
help it because we're sitting there having lunch right across from her. And she's sitting there and she's wearing like a camo shirt and fatigues because she's in her G.I. Joe persona, right? Because she's the voice of Lady J. And so she is sitting there talking. And it's just the strangest thing because I guess my nose doesn't work very well. So people are always like, I smelled this smell and I was instantly transported back to Christmas at my grandmother's house in 1983. I don't really have that association very much. But I heard her voice, and I was instantly transported to my childhood watching the G.I. Joe cartoon. And it was just bizarre. Hey, Brian, what's up, brother? good to see you. It's been way too long, man. Hope you're back at the expo next year. But so I'm sitting there talking to her, and it's just bizarre to hear her voice. She's not yelling at Flint. She's not telling people to like watch out, Cobra. She's telling me that if you make your own brown sugar, it's got more of the molasses flavor, and it's great. And how the chocolate chip cookies turn out better, and all this kind of thing. And you're like, this is just really bizarre. But then she had this story about rescuing, because she's a big animal rights activist, about rescuing animals from politically motivated people who are trying to do stuff, and having run-ins with these people. It just that story that she told, that was a comic book I would read.
It really was. And
like, there's no way that's real. That's a comic book I would read, and yet that's her.
And this is one of those that if you want to hear the story, if you see me at the shop, I'll tell you the story, but I'm not repeating it here. We got YouTube censors to worry about.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that, but
yeah, it was definitely bizarre. And even and I cannot think of his name, but I think his last name is Bell, the guy that did the voice for Duke.
Yes.
You know, he's just sitting a couple of people down, just talking away. And I'm like, if you close your eyes, you were friggin' 12 years old again.
Oh, yeah. And you're just sitting there in that room surrounded by these people.
Yep.
And that was bizarre. It was like a time machine. It just absolutely took me back to my childhood in the coolest possible way. That was amazing. That was really, really cool. So Sunday, we shut the line down early so that Mark could get out and see some people. Before we even talked to that, Larry Hama was there. The guy who's written G.I. Joe since 1982. Mark's booth is here. Larry Hama's booth is right here. And I really thought, we'll be able to chit chat during the day and all this. No, Mark's line was so insane. There was no time for any of that. I managed to snag a few minutes to run over and talk to Larry Hama and buy a few things. And you didn't even get over there until Sunday, right?
Yeah, it was Sunday afternoon when I got over there. And so Saturday, I was inside the green room eating lunch. And Mark...
This is hilarious. You have to tell the story the right way, though, man. This is great.
So I'm literally standing there and I'm talking to Mark's wife in the green room. She's standing beside me. Green room's full of people. And I hear this. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait. Oh, it's Mark Spears. It's the man.
So I don't.
You best post on your Discord that you're in here.
Oh, I need to go tell them.
I'll send them a link right quick. But I don't even know if Mark heard this story. So Saturday we're in the green room, and I was standing there at the toward the front door of the green room, and I was talking to Mark's wife. And all of a sudden I hear this, excuse me, do you know where the restroom's at? And I turn around and Larry Hama is standing right in front of me. So my introduction to a childhood hero is telling him where the restroom is at.
Or you said it before.
But in my mind, in that moment, Larry Hama needed me, and I stepped the hell up for Larry Hama and delivered.
I was there for him.
I was there for him in his moment of need.
Hey, you better pay close attention to G.I. Joe the next couple of months. There could be a character introduced where he keeps telling everybody where the bathroom is, right?
You never can tell.
That's right. They're in the middle of Springfield. There's a giant ninja fight happening, and there's somebody that says, "Where's the bathroom?" And there's Alan. It's right here.
That's right there. Yes, there it is.
You're gonna be fine. It's right here. Oh man. But we were just talking about Farley Con and the insanity of Farley, how we got there, and there was already a line out the door, and we had no
Yep.
time to set up, to get ready, nothing. It was just thrown right into the fire.
Yeah, it was. We didn't really expect it to be that big, right? Because it was almost like Huntsville Expo big when we got there, of my line, and
Yeah,
we kept thinking we're probably overdoing it with as many people as we had, and man, we needed every one of them.
every one of them.
Every one of them. And it was just until we closed around on Sunday. We had about an hour left. We told them, don't let anybody else in. Let's just close off the line.
Well, because you had to see people too.
Because I wanted to go see some people. But yeah, up till then, there was a line. I mean, it was crazy. I thought it would be an interesting test to see how many people would come out. Again, I think there was 3.5 weeks notice that was even going to be there. And then it's a small con. They do about 1,000, 2,000 people normally. And, and it's more of a G.I. Joe con. That's kind of how they
It's a small con, but it's a great con.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
very impressed.
Yeah, it felt very comfortable, and like it wasn't trying to be something it wasn't.
Yes.
It was just like, hey, I'm comfortable in my skin. This is an awesome show. People are going to have a good time, and it was great.
Yeah. And I could see it growing and getting each year with, just the special guests they have, like the Walking Dead guys this year they had, which they've had wrestlers in the past, Jimmy Hart. I think Brutus Beefcake's been there before.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yep. Slaughter was there this year, which, of course, he's amazing. But dude, it was it's been one of the best cons I've seen run that size ever.
The
expo, I love how the expo's done, but expo's crazy. How big
it's enormous,
right? This guy was able to, and this is another credit to Rocky. He thought it was going to be one size of the con, and I think it might have doubled that weekend.
It did.
And he was able to handle it with ease, where no one was upset that I heard of. He had overflow lines perfect. Everybody seemed to be happy, the vendors to the guests, to the attendees and stuff. So my hat's off to Rocky. He did a superb job. Great con. I'd love to go back one day, because it's just, I love the area it's in, right? The whole road right there you're going up to, you have all types of eating places. You have all types of hotels, and you're right there at the con. I mean, you don't have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about parking. It's just, that's a great, where he has it is just a great venue for that size. It's just perfect.
I will say, had they cranked the AC on earlier, that would have been better.
Yeah,
it was hot that first day.
Yeah,
but I mean, honestly, where the hotel is at, you could walk to the con if you wanted to.
You could easily.
I agree with you. That was a really nice area, extremely convenient for food.
Yep.
I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be that nice of an area. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. But I mean, I've never been over there.
In my mind, I was just envisioning a part of town, just like you take somewhere in Huntsville, and you just say, okay, this is where the con is going to be. It's hard to have a good place around it that's set up with food and hotel stays. It's just hard to find all that in one area.
It was somehow on a really busy intersection and highway, but it was set off just far enough back from it that it was totally secluded and out of the way. So it didn't. There was no crowd immediately there. Now you went 100 feet that way, and boom, traffic. But over here, it was nothing.
And it was that's what it felt like. You felt like you're in this little oasis of where you could really stay in this little bitty bubble if you wanted to, with all the hotels, the food, and everything. You could stay there and not have to leave all weekend. We ran to Walmart one night, and that took a bit, because we got going the wrong way and all that kind of stuff. So, but in that little area, just awesome. Right when you pull off into there, It's just, it seems like time stands still over there, where it was just, there wasn't bad traffic, wasn't bad lines or anything. And like I said, man, the parking is just great over there. You didn't have to worry about, that's one bad thing about Huntsville Expo. It's just downtown Huntsville right now. Hopefully that'll be fixed maybe by this next expo. But
yeah, they're supposed to be building another parking garage on Clinton right there
Yeah.
that will help alleviate some of that.
Yeah, I think the only thing that could have made Farley Con better was if I would have been in a room where the person next to me didn't snore all night long.
Wait, are you talking about Josh or me? Because
I'm not naming names. I'm just saying that somebody needs a sleep study.
I still say it was Melissa, because how do you just don't know, because you'd have had to come over there. So I think it's Melissa myself, but I don't know.
You know what? I'm willing to take your word for it because I was not in the room.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
I could just see you though, like stand up on the bed, put your ear going like, is he here or is he there? And you're just like listening.
Well, see,
yeah, he got one of the glasses out of the bathroom and he had the glass up to the wall.
Oh, no. At one point, it was so pronounced. I was laying in the middle of my bed on my back and I was going, all right, they're to the right of me, which means they're on the left-hand side of the bed. I was triangulating in the room.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Oh, me.
Brother, you aren't kidding.
I had so much
G.I. Joe books signed by Mark and Larry is awesome.
Yeah, that's yeah. But I got one signed by Larry, Slaughter, and Storm Shadow.
Yes, you did.
And then I got to sign them. I'm gonna get those put up in my room somewhere. I got to do that. And that Slaughter action figure, man.
You mean this one?
Oh, is that
you mean this one?
And I tell you, not even just a figure. It's when I look at the figure and the memory comes back, right? And then we'll all And that was you know what? That to me was almost the highlight of the whole con. Just because getting to meet him and his agent and how nice they were and all that.
He has such an iconic voice.
Yeah.
It's Sergeant Slaughter, right? And he does the pictures with you, right? So he's like, all right, take a picture. We're going to be pointing at that guy. Yeah. So you're pointing, and he says, point at that guy like he's a maggot. And you're like, oh my God, this is so Sergeant Slaughter. But the other thing was Sergeant Slaughter, the minute he found out who you were, he's like, you're the guy that's had people in everybody's line all week. Thank you. That was awesome. The fact that he recognized that and was like totally cool and appreciative was great. I thought that was phenomenal.
That's the memory for me. That set it even above. He told, what was the thing he said? Well, you know what we call that? And I was like, what? And he goes something about like taking one for the house or something. And at the end, he gave me a fist bump and said, "Man, thanks for the house." Because that's the way in wrestling, right? You have the main event and then you have the other guys. Because they're all eating at the same table. You're feeding everybody, but it's the like maybe it was Hulk Hogan or somebody back then might have helped out the other 5 matches. So that man, I tell you, that acknowledgement that he gave me about having the long line was just amazing. Just because it makes you feel so important. It was amazing. I can't describe it.
I couldn't either, and I have to say, because Alan and I were there with you, and we go over to see Sergeant Slaughter like a bunch of 12-year-olds, right? We're all like, "Oh my God, it's Sergeant Slaughter!" I mean, Melissa was laughing at me. I don't know if you saw that.
Melissa said, "I feel like I'm all y'all's mom."
Well, that's what I was about to say. So when Melissa and I had walked over there, I'm standing there talking to him, and I start talking about AWA and Mid-South Wrestling back in the late 70s and early 80s. And, we're standing there talking about like the Nightmares and Iceman King Parsons. And I mean, I literally called out a specific match between him and Iceman King Parsons in the early 80s. And when we walked away, Melissa looks at me and she goes, all of y'all are the same. You're just a bunch of big kids.
Yes.
And she was like, she looks at me and she goes, you are genuinely happy right now. And I'm like, don't talk to me. I need a moment. Just leave me alone. Just give me a minute.
But yeah, she told me, she's like, you just like giddy like a little kid. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. Yes.
Yes.
So we're over there, and because we were with you, and Sergeant Slaughter recognized that you brought the crowd, and that they benefited from that, which was amazing. And so he gave me this.
Yep.
He didn't let me buy it. He gave me this. He signed it with the red, white, and blue.
Well, I said, hey, you don't have a figure with you. And you said, no, I got that figure, but it's at home. And then I said, let me buy you one. Because, both of y'all helped me tremendously this weekend. They wouldn't allow it. The guy goes, no, and picks up one, his agent in Slaughter, and signed that one for you. Amazing people.
But then he's taking pictures with me. And I'm just giddy as a schoolboy. I'm 8 years old again, and this is amazing. This was the coolest thing. And meeting Larry Hama and getting to talk with Larry Hama was absolutely like a life goal kind of a deal, right? But there was something so visceral about that meeting with him that it just stuck in my brain. And I think that's the defining memory I'm going to walk away with.
It always, to me, it'll be the Sergeant Slaughter. Though I learned a lot from Larry. I got to talk to him and everything, and that was amazing. Something about the Slaughter thing was, to me, because also, like I said, that he knew who I was, that there's a line that, you know what I'm saying? It's just almost like your parents seeing that you did something good.
I'm proud of you, son.
Right?
That's exactly what it felt like.
But here's the thing on Alan. So we do all that. Me and you are in cloud nine over there. We're not even understanding what's happening around us. We leave there. We go talk to Storm Shadow because we're talking to him. We come back to the booth. I'm sitting there. I'm signing some more stuff. And then it hits me. Where was Alan during all that? Alan was over there. And I went, wait, Alan, didn't you want to figure? And Alan goes, no, I'm good. And I went, oh, maybe you don't like G.I. Joe's much. So I asked you, I said, is Alan a big G.I. Joe fan? And you went, he's the biggest G.I. Joe fan. I went, okay, come on. Let's go back. And then Melissa, because I had to go see Larry. So Melissa goes, I want to take him. And Melissa has said she's so grateful that she took him over there. She said it was like I took my child over there.
It has to bring joy.
Amazing, Mark. She described the whole thing to me. She tried to, was trying to give us the figure, and she said, no, we want to pay because he can't, those figures, man.
They're not cheap.
Pay something for those.
Yeah.
So we paid for it, and she said, oh, I'm so glad we went over there with Alan. She said, I'm so glad we got to do that. And again, it's just that thing, man. That's how I'll always remember this con. Is the Sergeant Slaughter thing.
See, I had so much fun with y'all, but I have got to give, you know what? I love your wife. I've got to give her all the credit in the world.
You way outkicked your coverage, brother.
Melissa was the ultimate den mother all weekend long.
She was.
Yeah, she's great. She has to deal with all the business stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then she'll deal with that kind of stuff too, and it's a lot. I know she's I think only a mother could run everything like this because she's doing 50 things at once, right? People come up there in line and they need this or that or whatever. So,
well, that's where I think we were able to help because we could take some of that burden off her.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where me and Alan are just coming over like, run this much on this credit card, run this much on this credit card, put this cash in the bag. And she's like, what are you people doing? Like, we're selling stuff. Let's move.
No, see, as far as working the booth was concerned, my favorite moment over the entire weekend was Saturday afternoon. I saw Mark's pen come off of a comic book for like 1.2 seconds, and I went, keep running.
Well, we've had talks since then, and we were talking about like going forward who we need, and she said, we need Josh and Alan, no matter what con we're doing. And I was like, well, at the expo, I said at the expo, Josh is going to run his booth and he's going to have Alan there. And she says, we're getting Alan. We're getting it. Whatever we have to do.
We might have to share custody.
Alan is the perfect person who cares nothing about what you think of him, where he will tell somebody, if they go, Mark, will you do? And he'll be like, no, you can't. No, Mark ain't doing that. Right. And I need someone while I'm doing it. I'm just focused on, meeting the people and talking to them and signing things. And I do need Alan there going, Mark, dude, you got to sign, and I need him to also tell the other people, can't have that, when there's a big thing that happened on Saturday where Alan, originally, you and Alan were over on the left side.
Right.
Y'all were selling comics, which I thought y'all would be good at that. Y'all did amazing at it. We were running into some trouble where people were getting away with a few things that they wasn't supposed to be getting. And, signature stuff like that I didn't know that. I think they were saying they paid for all of them. They didn't, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But we were slowing down. People were getting remarks and asking for remarks that were taking a lot longer. So I said, hey, get me Alan down here. I wanted Mark Boa still there, then Alan, but I think Boa needed a break. So Alan got right there beside me. And it was like that instantly. We started going through that line so much quicker without changing anything else. We didn't even change the paint, where we're still doing paint markers. But you have to have some kind of like drill sergeant. We needed our own Sergeant Slaughter over there, and that's who Alan was. To say, look, you got it. The lines got to keep going. One thing I didn't know about until I got home, Melissa said they told you guys not to sell over on that left side. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
they did.
It was making the line was getting too big talking to you guys or something or something over there.
What we had started doing was we were selling stuff over there if people didn't want signatures.
Right. Yeah, like
that we could sell stuff over there and not clog up the line. Right. And that made sense to me, and that worked. Yeah. Well, what happened was some people in the line were getting salty, and rightfully so. I understand why. Saying, what if they get the exclusives and we've run out and I don't get the exclusives that I waited in line for?
I got you. Yeah.
And that made sense to me. I got it. And they were right. So that made total sense. We were trying to keep the line moving and expedite things. So we did continue to sell over there, but it was only non-exclusive stuff, right?
Like CGC or
any CGC books or the G.I. Joe books and things like that were non-exclusives. We continued to sell those over there. And we did a pretty bang-up business. I'm not going to lie. We sold a fair bit of stuff. But we kept selling that stuff over there, but no exclusives. We're like, we're not selling any exclusives over here. You got to go through the line.
I'll have to figure that out going forward, like in the expo or wherever I go next, because a good way to do that. Some people sign their exclusives ahead of time, and that's something I could have done to where it saves a lot of time, because you could say, look, we're selling the exclusive, has to come with a signature, and it's a set price, right? You could do that.
Yep.
Or you could say we signed if there's 100 of them, we signed 75. There's 25 not. If you want one of the knots, get over here to this side. If you want one of the sign, over here.
Well, I think you have to have the right balance, because some people they want the signature and they don't care if they wait in line for it.
Exactly.
They want to meet the guy who drew it, right? They want to meet the guy who wrote it. And I would be that way. The signature, like I could have bought Stan Lee signatures from his booth, but I wanted to meet Stan Lee.
You want the memory. It's the Sergeant Slaughter thing, right?
Exactly.
If they said, hey, we'll get you that little figure with the signature, we'll just bring it over to your table and someone hand it to you. That's not the same experience.
We
had an experience with Slaughter, and that's what they want when they come over to me if they wait in that line. Unless it's a retailer, sometimes they don't care. They're a vendor. They just
right. Some people don't care about that. They want the signature. Right. They don't care about the experience, because in their mind, I got the thing I wanted to get, and I didn't have to stand in line for it. So I think you have to strike a balance.
You have to find the right balance on all that.
Yeah. And Josh and I were talking about it before you come on. In my mind, that little girl that was standing there, and I know you're going to remember, that little girl that was standing there with her face painted like Dracula with the blood on the side of her lip.
Yeah.
That had 2 comic books in her hand.
Yep.
To me, she was actually more important than the guy that was wearing the University of Tennessee shirt with 75 books to get signed.
Exactly. Oh, totally.
And at one point, I did look at him and I said, "Hey, she's got 2 books. She's wearing a Monsters T-shirt.
Right.
Let's jump her in front of you."
Yeah.
And he was, I mean, he was
And
cool
to his
with
credit,
that.
he was cool with that.
I wished I knew more. Like there's levels of I guess fans out there. There's ones that collect the covers, they love it. There's the ones that read it too, which I love that because I spend so much time with tonight I'm getting everything for number 7 ready to send to the printers. I've added 5 pages and all this stuff. So I love it if they read it too. That's even better. But then there's those kind of fans, and then there's guys that are just like kind of fans of me, but they're more like they're wanting to resell it and stuff. And hey, I'm fine with that. I'm good if you're a flipper, retailer, brick and mortar, if you're online, whatever, because I'm getting my money when I sell it to the first person, right? If you want to sell it after that, that's great. Whatever you want to do. But I do wish I could identify the people that are true fans like that want to spend a little bit more time with me, because I would love to talk to them about the book more, our artwork and stuff. And sometimes it's just hard to identify those.
Well, did you notice Saturday afternoon? Because there was a lot of people in line that I was joking around and cutting up with when I was sitting beside you. But did you notice that there were times that I just stopped talking entirely?
Yeah.
That was because one of your fans was actually standing there. They only had like 1 or 2 books. Those were the ones that were asking, especially some of the younger ones. They were like the ones that I was picking with about, hey, you want him to sign your forehead?
Yes. Every time you would do that, they were more like fans,
Yeah, those were the actual fans. Now the ones that were, you could definitely tell were the flippers.
Yeah, if you're bringing 5 and you've already bought 20 other ones, and I'm signing all of them, you kind of tell. If you brought me 1 or 2 books, you're not really a retailer flipper or whatever, because you would have brought the whole 5 with you. So I, and again, I'm not saying I love all these people. If they're out there getting in line for me, that's great. I do wish I did know more if they're a fan, because I want to give them a more personal interaction, and talk to them more.
Well, you want to interact with them at the same level they're interacting with you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if a flipper has got a very, and they're cool. Yeah, absolutely cool. Bring it, get it signed, sell it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. If that's the way you want to interact with this, that's cool. You can do that. You can have the transactional thing. You can be nice. You can be cool, and they'll be chill, and you'll sell the thing. They'll sell the thing. Everybody's happy. But if somebody comes up and they're, especially a kid, really want to talk to you, and they really want to tell you how cool that you are, and they show you the drawing they did of your character,
all that
you have to take that moment and spend that with them, because they're going to walk away. You're going to be their Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You be their Sergeant Slaughter, and that makes all the difference in the world. Quick question on Monsters: is there a trade for the first 6 issues coming out? I'm going to say no. It's going to be 8 issues.
There is a hardcover trade that'll be out in comic book stores. I heard this earlier today, and it'll hit comic book stores first in December, and then it'll hit bookstores in like January. So comic stores will have a whole month lead in before.
But how many books are going to be in it? How many issues?
I think it's only going to be their first 4. I'm not sure. It might be 5, but they keep it thinner because we are going to add. I was asking them today, hey, I got other pages we cut because of, to keep the page count lower at that time. So we're going to add some of those back. Maybe if we have room, we could add covers, but we could, I don't know how many covers we could fit in it.
So what I just heard was this is going to make an excellent Christmas present.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So that's what I heard today. And they were telling me they have to have the insides finalized 1st of October for, to go to print with it.
Sure.
That's what I heard just from today. But
real quick, jumping. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say when we was talking about the other thing, and I won't put the guy on the spot, so because you'll know if I tell you what I wrote, because what I wrote, you told me, Mark, you need to add this to it. because you're better.
Oh, the commas. Yeah.
Things like that. You had told me something, and I had to correct this guy's quote that he wanted on the book. What gets me is sometimes I'm going through this stuff and I do these things where really a quote is a remark. But a lot of times they're like, I'm the biggest fan, man. I love this stuff so much. Mark, please, could you just write this on it? And I'll do it. That's why I need Alan, really.
Yep.
That book has already sold on eBay for like $300.
Which one was it?
I flipped it that night. And look, again, I don't mind people selling this stuff at all. Hey, I got mine at the beginning. But I don't like it when they pretend to be, oh, I'm your biggest fan. Please, would you write this on it? Because I would love it so much. It's for my PC, please. And I'm like, basically you got a discount because I didn't charge you for the remark and you went and sold it immediately. That just bothers me a little bit. So that's why I have to.
Well, that's because people are pretending. They're being fake with you. And that's what I think bothers you is people are misrepresenting.
Yeah, if you come up to me and said, hey, Mark, I'm taking every one of these tonight and I'm going to sell them, you know what? I'd probably shake your hand and say, dude, that's awesome. You know what? Let me throw a little bat or something on here. I appreciate honesty more because that's fine with me. I understand people are going to sell them. That's the name of this game. It's comic books, right? I mean, a lot of people are going to take a comic, then eventually they'll sell that comic. That's fine.
Was that This Is Not My Cover? Was it that book?
Oh, no, that was hilarious.
No. It was.
Oh, okay.
I'll just tell. I don't care. The guy I'll see again. It was the Viva Los Monsters, and I spelled it wrong. And Josh said it's a LAS. It's not LA, right? So it was that guy. Again, I don't have no animosity toward him whatsoever. I just like it where, honestly, at that time, there was a breakdown in the line to where no one was telling me this is remarks, this is this. So when someone would say, can you draw a bat on there? I'm thinking they've already bought it. I find out later there was people doing that no, they didn't pay for remarks.
And we definitely had that in line on Sunday where we're like, how many signatures? What are you getting? And we're checking the Post-its, like you got 4 signatures, 1 remark or whatever.
Exactly.
And so we were passing that down.
Exactly. Next time I have to get even better at doing that so we know. Next time I'm also going to make where Jeremy had suggested this. You can make my table just a little higher so I'm not bending over so much.
Well, yeah, you should have one of those artist kind of tables that and they sell them that you can just throw them on a table and it's going to be at an angle.
Dude, that would be great because then that's what's killing me so much sitting there. Because when I draw, it's over here. It's slanted, right? It's this. And drawing, sitting down over something, which at first it's not bad, but you do it
it's all day, every day. You're like this.
It's rough. So
which is why when Sergeant Slaughter put you in the Cobra Clutch.
Oh God, that actually felt great.
First of all, Sergeant Slaughter put you in the Cobra Clutch, and he ain't joking.
No, he ain't.
That's not he's got a hold of
you. He's got a hold of you, and he's bearing down. But you walked out of there, and you were like,
"Man, I felt better.
I felt better.
I was straighter than I was before I went over there."
But I don't know who it was. I don't know anything about it other than the Idiot Edition. That was the greatest comic book that you signed all weekend.
So there was 2 or 3, I think 2 Idiot Editions. So that one of them was I misspelled my name because. See, so people ask me, and I go, nope, never misspell it. Someone was asking about who, I don't know who it was, one of you guys, something about what was it? And it was, I thought the first word I thought was ASS when y'all did this.
Yes, you did.
So I put SPA instead of E.
SPE.
Yeah. Because I'm putting the P right there, and then y'all did something, and first word pop up in my thing was booty with an A. So I hit A, and I went, uh-oh. So I tell the guy, and I get done with it. He goes, hey, just finish it off or something. And I put an E above it, put like the arrow down below, and I said, this is the Idiot Edition. He loved that piece so much. later on, some guy brings me where, you know, a lot of times
the
this
comic
happens
you didn't do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was one of his friends had given it to him, because that happens a lot. One guy shows up, he has a bunch of his friends' books, or maybe it's his store's books. I think this was his friends. And he said, and I said, "You want me to sign this?" I didn't do it, you know. And he said, no, I don't want to waste, you know, the money for a signature on that. So he pulled out another book. Well, I'm signing that, and I said, "Hey, if you want me to, I'll sign that with no extra charge, and I'll put, 'Hey, idiot, I didn't draw this,' and put my name at the top." And he said, "Would you?" And I said, "Yeah, but," and then he said, "I don't know if I can give it to the guy now." He wanted to keep it so bad. But
when I looked at it, I was thinking, I need to mug this dude in the parking lot. I got it.
Oh, that was great. That was hysterical. You know, that reminds me, God, this would have been 2005, 2006. I was up at Wizard World Chicago, and Robert Kirkman was there. And this was before Robert Kirkman was Robert Kirkman. He was just Robert Kirkman, right? And Battle Pope was out, if you remember Battle Pope.
Yes.
Which is the 25th anniversary of Battle Pope this year. And I'm like, or 20th anniversary. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But we just lost Mark.
We just completely lost Mark.
Like, he just disappeared. Like, boop. That's weird. But anyway, there he is.
Man, it's just I hit the wrong button and got me out of here. Okay, go ahead.
It sure
Battle
did.
Pope, 25th. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so 20th anniversary. But I was there, and so Ultimate Josh was back here running Haven while I was up at Wizard World Chicago, and so now we lost Alan. It's good. So he was running Haven.
You can't appear at the same time. That's what it is.
That's right. There's only so many people allowed in the internet. Kirkman got him. That's hilarious. But so I asked Ultimate, because he's running Haven for me while I'm up in Chicago at Wizard World. I said, what do you want? And that was a monster level Vanishing Act. That's true. That's true. And he goes, "I want Robert Kirkman to draw me Battle Pope, giving you double barrel fingers and saying F you." And I was like, "That's what you want?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." So you know how back in the day we would go to conventions and we would just take sketchbooks, and people don't do that so much anymore, but some people still do. So I took my sketchbook up there, and first thing I did, or one of the first things I did, is I go and I hunt down, where is this Robert Kirkman dude? He's hiding around here somewhere. And I finally find him, and I pop that down. He says, "What do you want?" And I told him, and he goes, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, this is what the guy who's running my store so I can be here. This is the only thing he asked me to bring back for him is this." And he goes, "Okay." Like, you could tell he didn't feel real comfortable. He's like, "Is somebody going to sue me? Is somebody going to think I'm a jerk? What kind of a jerk am I that I'm doing this to somebody who brought me their sketchbook and this is what I put in it?" You know, you could see all that stuff going on in his head. And he's like, "Okay." So he draws Battle Pope with a cigar in his mouth, like, and he's doing the double barrels and saying F you. And when you take your sketchbooks around to everybody else to get signed, you know, they always want to flip through it and see what you got so they know what they got to measure up to, right? They're like, okay. Oh, wow. Every single person stopped at that book, and they were like, or at that page, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is great." This is great. So I got Brian Michael Bendis to sign something, and he drew more or less the same thing. It was a self-portrait where he looks like Charlie Brown, but he was doing the same thing. And I'm like, you know what? I've got that in my book now. It's great. But that was hilarious. And that kind of reminded me a little bit of that. When you wrote that on that book, everybody was like, "That's awesome. Like, that's better than anything you would have planned on bringing back." Because that's unique.
Yes, that's that. He might end up selling it, which, hey, that's great if he wants to. It's very unique, one of a kind. I haven't ever done that before, so it's but it exists out there in the world, so that's kind of neat. But you know, on the sketches, people would come up there with their sketchbooks, and I would tell them, I said, "Man, I don't have a pencil, I don't have a pen, all I have is big old Sharpies." And they're like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't matter." But I hated that. Even some of these remarks, that's why I say they need to be very simple. I'm not prepared, because I don't have like my ink pens and pencils.
Well, you only have so much time too. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, I can't sit there and take 10 minutes on a drawing.
No.
What's the oddest request Mark has ever had to write on? The oddest thing I've ever signed was over at the comic shop in Decatur. A guy's a leg. He has a
prosthetic leg.
Prosthetic leg. I signed that over there. That was right after I think is the week Monsters was released.
Yeah.
And they said I did that there. And then the oddest thing I've ever had to write. I don't really write a lot of things. I would love to write more quotes and stuff on books, but I get scared that the people won't like it and they'll be like, "You just messed up my comic book," you know. Because a lot of times when I sign one of them sharks, I just take the initiative and put like, you know, we're gonna need a bigger boat or don't go in the water, and usually they love it.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 or 99.9 out of 100, people are gonna love that.
I had so many ideas for the Elvis, and no one ever asked for them. I was gonna put like, bring me a banana sandwich. I was gonna have all kinds of different things on there, you know, like you know, of course, all the songs. You could go through so many Elvis songs and put those on there. So I was shocked.
What color Elvis was that?
The what?
Let's see what color.
Go ahead, Alan, to inform the people of that great joke, Josh. We were sitting there.
Y'all, it was pretty intense. The line was going. Everybody is like boom, boom, and just boom, working. And if you don't know the Farley Con exclusives, there's this Elvis print. He's like zombie-looking Elvis, which we called him Helvis.
It's foil.
There was one with a white background that was cardstock, and there was one with the black background that was foil. And people were buying both or one or the other, and we had to differentiate between them. And it was way faster just to talk to the color of the background on the book, but it didn't sound very good, right? So we had white Elvis and black Elvis, and so Mark is busy signing, and Alan's getting books ready, and Alan's handing him books and going through all this. And I just leaned down and very matter-of-factly said, "I've been told that we need to stop referring to them as black Elvis and white Elvis." I mean, there was no context around it. There was no other conversation. It was just that. And Alan and Mark both about paid. It was just such a good thing you didn't take a drink right before that, because that would have been all
I
over
would have messed up so many
in front of you.
People, we busted out laughing so hard that people in line were looking at us like, what did we miss? And we couldn't even tell.
No.
But the bad thing was, I mean, it was one of those, Marcus cranking out signatures. I'm literally feeding him books. It was starting to get a little tense, and Josh cracked that joke at the moment we needed it. He really did.
I could tell because I was right behind y'all grabbing books and stuff, and y'all were both looking like, something
else happened later. That happened first. It was hours later, and I was on like one of these white backgrounds. It was either the shark or Elvis, where you could really get messed up but I was drinking something at that same time, and someone else said something, and I almost lost it. It got so close to me spitting all over that book.
You did, and I don't remember what it was. If somebody said it, I would latch onto it in a heartbeat. But
right, I can't remember. It was something else that was funny. But dude, we needed some laughter every now and then, because the lines were for a long time. You don't see daylight. It's just lines of people. We're all sitting, so we look up, we just see crowds. But we got through it, man, and that was a blast. So much.
It was work, and we were busy.
Yeah.
But it was a hoot, and we took the time to laugh, and we had a great time, and we cut up with the people in the line, which helped alleviate the "I've been standing in line forever," right? They're getting attention, and we're having conversations and joking around about stuff, and it kept everybody's temperature a little cooler.
Yeah.
Because we had a great time. They were having fun. We were having fun. It was a good time.
I've learned now at that con, this didn't happen in Expo, but that one, when I would take my break sometimes where I need to walk around to stretch my sides, I would walk around. Of course, I'm still wearing I think Saturday I had the Mark Spears Monster shirt and hat on.
Yep.
But I'm just walking around, and people would stop me out there and ask me for signatures. Or if I finally got to a comic booth, and I like looking at their wall pieces because that's the older stuff usually. I like to look for pre-code horror, and I'm looking, and then I could catch the corner of my eye. There, yes, that's Mark Spears, and then they start forming. Well, then I would have to just walk away and go to the next one, and then if they catch me at the beginning where they knew it was me, they're like, "Oh yeah, Mark, you want something?" And then I'm like, I have to get somebody else to buy the books for me because I think they would either they're actually try to give me a discount or something, you know, or they would charge me more because it's me. I don't know, but it's a weird thing. Before I was never recognized at a con, right?
Okay, time out. If you're still watching, Ziggy, that is me typing. I'm going back and forth with the guys on Discord right now.
Okay, Lisa, to answer your question, if we have time to check on the Spinner Rack guys. The Spinner Rack guys were right across from us. Like Larry Hama's on this side, the Spinner Rack is on this side. And two things. One, they had these cool little fans that you could wear around your neck, and those things are like little polar vortexes that are blowing. So when you look at Deb, she's standing there and her hair's blowing like she's in a movie. And everybody else is like, there is no breeze in here. How is her hair doing that? But she loaned that to me, so I was cooler because it was pretty hot in that first half of Saturday, particularly. But
oh wait, tell the story about you going to the bathroom with that on.
Oh yeah, I'll get to that. Thank you. That might have been the other thing that cracked us up later.
That might have been.
Now I think about it, that might have been it. But you talked about checking in on the Hintons. Steve came over because he saw us, and we had talked about getting our pictures with Sergeant Slaughter and how cool that was and all that stuff, right? And so Steve was like, "Oh man, I got to do that." He was so pumped by how excited we were. He's like, "I got to do that." So he comes running over, and I said, "Yeah, I'll walk you back over here to Sergeant Slaughter." So I walked over there with him, and because Sergeant Slaughter was kind of shutting his booth down, or about to shut his booth down at that point, so he didn't have a line because they were getting ready to leave. And I walked over and I said, "Hey, just wanted to introduce you to Steve. Steve wanted to come over before you tear everything down." And Steve's like gets his picture done and all this. And he's trying to hand him money, and Sergeant Slaughter says, "No, your money's no good here. Any friend of Josh's is a friend of mine."
Oh my God!
And I was like, so then as we're walking away,
in front of the Spinner Rack people,
as we're walking away, Steve goes, "How long have you known him?" I was like, 20 minutes.
Dude, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
That was hilarious. That was so funny. But yeah, how long have you known him? Like 20 minutes. But okay, so the story about the fan.
Yes.
Oh my God. So this fan, it looks like the binoculars from Star Trek, or not Star Trek, from Star Wars, the episode 4. So it looks kind of like the little bit, it's smaller, but it looks like that is what it looks like.
Futuristic,
and it's got a strap on it. It hangs around your neck, and it just blows air straight up, and it's great. I mean, like I went online and ordered one of these things as soon as I got home, right? Fantastic product called So Cool Fans. So go online, go to Amazon, order it. It's about $30, $35.
It's called So Cool?
So Cool.
Right.
Well worth it. They're not paying for this, but I love their product. I will have it at the expo next year. Believe me. Anyway, so this thing is just, you wear it around your neck and it's just blowing air and you're like, okay, cool. That was great. Do not, I repeat, do not walk into a bathroom that has seen extensive and recent use with that thing around your neck. Because what it does is it takes all of that lovely fragrance and it like jet streams it straight up into your nostrils. Like with the force, a gale force wind. Just so you're walking to the bathroom and just oh my God. I mean, you couldn't get out of there fast enough. That was awful. I do not recommend that. Do not turn it off before you go in.
I just bought me one right there. I just went to Amazon and got one because I got to have one of those, man. That's great when you're working, when you're going if you got to go outside for some stuff. So I but I will not wear it into a public bathroom.
Do not have that going while you go in the bathroom, because if that sucker is blowing up your nose, it is just like getting punched inside your brain with stench.
I didn't get to check on Spinnerack's books. I wanted to get to look at those. I didn't get to check out Jeremy's books really. Lucas did, but because see, I want to start. I think I want to start. Maybe I'm be stupid. Collecting some of those pre-code horror, right? I would like those.
Oh yeah.
You know, I would like to have some of those because a lot of times I'm doing homages to those books anyways. So wouldn't it be great to have both, you know, and frame them? So, but I'm gonna start.
Well,
doing
to have
that.
your homage side by side in a frame next to the original,
yeah, that's what
would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm doing another Black Cat, but this time I'm going to do it with the werewolf for the blind bags.
Nice.
Speaking of blind bags,
I was going to say, speaking of blind bags, that's a perfect.
We just segued.
This
is perfect. We segued right into it. So the blind bags. What I'm hearing is, you know, there's good stuff still. We haven't announced that one thing, but it will be soon. What you talked about.
Well, it just makes the blind bags even
the
better.
Chalice. We haven't announced something like that yet. We will though soon. We're just getting the logistics down, making sure that all the pieces fit. But right now, there's supposed to be around 70 covers right now. We're trying to work on that to be 80. So
I thought it was going to be 30.
Yeah, well, it's 30. Okay, so it's going to be 40 base covers, I think. Then, so that means your odds of pulling something on those 40 is the exact same, right? So if we're wanting to make it, because it looks like the orders are going to be up there. Say there's 300,000. I would love it for every base cover to be, no more than like 6,000 printed, right? Because that's still very rare. And then the foils will be printed less. And then, of course, you got your black and white, your glow in the dark. And we also have the trick covers. I'm adding more of those.
So define what a trick cover is for people who don't know.
A trick cover is where you've been tricked, but I still wanted it to be a cool thing that you got. So like, there is a picture, I think on Instagram, I do have a little picture of one at the very bottom. You can see. So I took like the bride cover, the original bride cover. And then I put a werewolf's arm on it with a pin, and he put duct tape over the title and wrote Monster and the Wolf and started drawing all over the cover, little werewolves and stuff, and put a werewolves rule on the bottom right and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a trick cover. So you got your bride cover.
Trick, that's the trick. Okay.
It's a trick. That's like a trick cover. Still with it, and they'll be printed. They won't be printed as much as a base cover, so they'll be sought after. But yeah, they're right there. That one right there. You can see it. It's hard to see. Hadn't blown it up yet. There'll be other.
In my mind, I was picturing you doing something like taking the Jaws cover where she's swimming and you've got the big shark coming up underneath, right?
Yeah.
Like taking that, getting rid of the shark and making it like a tiny little piranha.
Something
like that. That in my mind is hilarious.
Might be what I was doing. So things like that. One cover I don't want to have them all the same. So one of them I'm looking at where when you look at it, you will see where it says Monster and the Wolf, but it'll be flipped backwards because we're from the inside looking out of the cover. So like say it's the clown, you're behind him. So you're seeing everything, but it's backwards. He's facing backwards, and the title would be facing backwards. So
yeah, I want to glow in the dark too. I love glow in the dark.
Yes, I want to add more glow in the dark. Right now we got 5. If I have anything that looks like it would look good in glow in the dark, we're going to do a glow in the dark of it. I'm not gonna lie to you, Mark. That Nun Farley exclusive cover would be a killer glow in the dark. We have one like that, but it's 3 nuns on it of the skeleton nun. Yeah. And even the words Monster and the Wolf are glowing. So that's going to be a glow in the dark version as well. But yeah, you get that skull face on there, glow in the dark. Yes. Oh my God, that would be sick. So we've got a bunch of stuff like that. And we can't wait. We're trying right now. We're talking to people about a midnight release. I've ran it by some people. One thing, because I can't be everywhere that night, I understand that.
You're not like Santa Claus?
Yeah, I'm not Santa Claus that night. So what we might do is if a store wants to do a midnight release, what we could do is I could schedule some times that night, like from 9 till midnight. I'm just sitting here at my computer. I'll do FaceTime with stores. I'll do streaming, whatever I could do for about, hit up a bunch of stores. Maybe it's 15 minutes for each store, whatever. Maybe we can get a list and just, hype
That's
up.
That's actually a great idea.
I want this to be a big event, and I want everybody to have fun with it, and it would be something amazing. And again, I want it to be where no matter what you open, you're thrilled with it. Even if you're a flipper or whatever, that's fine. I just think it's going to be hard to say which ones do I let go, or do I open them? Do I seal them?
I know one store you could be at that night at midnight.
I could be because it is local, so we might pull off something like that.
What night are we looking at?
It would be, if it comes out right, it'll be October 1st. What would that on a Wednesday? So actually, it would be Tuesday midnight, right?
Right, correct.
Which I don't know. I was telling Melissa, I said if we did one more appearance and we did that at Haven and we let everybody know, I said people might fly down to be there that night.
They
I
might.
don't know. They might if we give them enough heads up or something. I don't know. We'll see, because I got to see how many I can get on the streaming and stuff too. Because
I think the streaming is a great idea. I'm thinking as a store, from my perspective, if I've got customers who are hanging out, we're having a party, and then at midnight the clock strikes 12, and boom, we're selling books.
Yep.
Like here's your order, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Like we'll have pizza, we'll have cake, whatever. And then if we have at 8:45 or at 9:45, we have, boom, we turn on, we stream. Mark Spears is going to be in the house talking to my customers.
Yeah, answering questions, and talking about the books and the covers and all that. I think that would be fun for their event. So
stream live from Haven. That's doable too. Yeah.
I'm thinking we could do that. So we'll see.
I think that would be awesome, because you want every store to feel special. That they got some of your time, that their customers feel like you took the time to meet with them. Yeah. And you can, thanks to modern technology, if it's a store in Fargo, North Dakota, or Houston, Texas, or San Francisco, or New York, or Pennsylvania, or wherever, doesn't matter.
Right.
You can talk to them. Now, there are time zone differences that will make things tricky, that we'll have to watch out for. But you can do that, and those people will all be super happy. When does FOC? All right, that's a good question, and I can answer that. Initial orders, this is one of those wacky times where the FOC and the initial orders are right next to each other. Initial orders are August 28th, and then FOC is September 1st. So there's 3 days between initial orders and FOC, so not much time. But final orders are not due for another 23 days.
So we have a lot of time. We're working on getting a commercial done. Chase is trying to film something this week. We're also looking at big announcements within the next week or two of, like I said, if we can do, something where it's what do you call that kind of system? A reward system? It'd be like what we're talking about, golden ticket kind of thing. But it's an extra incentive on top of everything else. Yes, it just makes it even.
The blind bags are already, you've got 30, 40 base covers, you've got hollow foils, you've got all the other types of covers that could be in there, black and whites, all this kind of stuff, right? And that's the thing. Your color palette is so unique and so different than anything I would ever think of. That when I see your work in black and white, I'm like, I don't know how that's going to look in black and white, but buddy, your work in black and white is awesome. And that, the creature from the Black Lagoon, that black and white cover, man, I wanted to punch somebody in the face and take that at the con the other day, because that was awesome. Like, I was like, here, you don't need that, give me that. But anyway, so you got black and white covers in there. You got, and you've got some that are like what 1 in every 14 or something like that. 15 is
Yeah,
going to be
the
a
foil will be 1 in
foil
every
and
14, and the
stuff
base
like
will
that.
be about like I think it's 1 in every one. I had the let me say, I might have the math sitting here. Let me look. The regular, I think this is my latest math before we added more. Your of the print run, 77.60% is our base cover, right?
Yep.
So your odds of pulling one is 1 in 1.29
Yeah.
of that cover. So to pull a foil, it's 1 in every 14 bags. To pull a specific foil, the odds would be 1 in 420 because there's so many foils, different ones. But if you wanted that specific foil, the odds are like 1 in 420. But 1 in 14 chance of pulling a foil to get that. We're trying to keep everything's cardstock. Our foil are better because we're trying to keep it to where people can't weigh them and go, oh, I know.
Right.
But here's another thing. Even if somehow they do that, say there's a fraction of an ounce or something, buddy, you want the regular ones too, because the regular covers are the glow in the dark that are very rare. The black and white is going to be very rare. What we insert those golden tickets into, if once
we can't talk about those yet.
Right.
We're still working that out.
We're still working because I don't want to release that information to be like we're doing that, but I will let people know we're trying to get that implemented, but it hasn't been officially announced yet.
So everybody has an idea of what we're trying to do, or what I say we, like I have anything to do with it. What Mark is trying to do, and I wholeheartedly support because I think it's freaking awesome, is something that tacks on another level of special, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you look at, put your earmuffs on, Mark. I'm going to talk about you like I'm at your funeral for a second. One of the things that Mark has been doing this whole time is building in the collectability. We're all comics fans, and this is what Marvel and DC and these guys will never understand, and why they keep pushing and pushing and pushing to go digital, right? It gets all the printing costs out of the way. It gets all these other costs out of the way. Distribution costs out of the way. It does all this stuff, and absolutely, but it's also not comic books.
No.
One of the key elements of comic books is the collectability factor. If it's electronic, are your pixels better than my pixels? No. What happens if you get your disc erased? You just lost all your comics. There's all kinds of stupid things. But with comics, there is a collectability factor. There's a rareness factor that drives demand. There's the condition of the book. All of these things drive demand, and that's what Marvel and DC just their overlords cannot wrap their heads around it. But Mark knows that, and you have that in your brain, and you're thinking all the time. And you said it earlier about having all these covers, not for the sake of having all the covers, but to limit how many of each cover exist to drive that collectability factor for people, so that people can have something rare. And it's a blind bag, so you might get it on your first pull. It doesn't matter. You've got something now that's going to be meaningful to you, and it's going to be that something that carries a little bit of extra. We all remember the book we should have bought that we didn't, that we wish we had, and we kind of waffled on it for whatever reason. Maybe we didn't have the money, or we had to choose between that and G.I. Joe, and G.I. Joe won because G.I. Joe is always going to win. That kind of thing. But you're building collectability into the baseline of your thought process. So that everything you do, there's an element of that people, and I think that's one of the things that makes you so popular with everybody, is because you've built that into your whole philosophy. And so what you're doing with these blind bags is you're taking that to another level. And then if we're able to do the poison chalice or the golden ticket or whatever we're calling it, if we're able to do that, that's going to be one of one things. Like there's not 10, there's not 100 of them, there's not 10 of them, there's one of them. And you can get that one thing. You have as good a chance as anybody else of getting that one thing.
And we're going to try to track that too. Is the idea would be put it on the website, so everyone that's found, we let people know. So there might be.
You have to advertise it.
Yes, we're going to advertise it more on those to let people know. And we haven't decided really even how we were thinking about 13. That's a cool number. We might even up that to where the more you up of one of ones, the more chance you have of getting one, right? So if I do 31 of ones, you know.
Well, I would say if you're going to do something like that, my recommendation for whatever that's worth, keep it in groups of 13, because you've got this whole supernatural monster kind of thing going.
Yes.
Keep it the size of a coven, right? And you can tie in, and that way people can be the first coven or the second coven or whatever.
Yes.
And that adds another level on top of that, right? Because all those layers just adds to it, and the more chances people have to get those things, the more exciting it is. All right, and you're tearing into those bags because this is awesome. But you're not going to come up with any duds. There's not one single thing you're going to open and be like, well, that's the crap cover.
To be so neat that you're hoping to get a trick cover. I want the base covers to be so awesome that you're like, I'm hoping to get a base cover. So that's the thing. I want it to be where no matter what you get, you're like, man, I like this. I need to go buy me another bag. And also on that, you know, it's also there's going to be pages in there. I did the interiors too. There's a neat story in there. Y'all haven't got to read it yet. I need to send it to you.
That's one of the things that I'm excited about. Honestly, and Daniel mentioned it earlier. He said, "Don't forget, I'm super stoked about reading the comic too." Right?
Mm-hmm.
For every single cover that people are excited about, there's at least 22 pages of story inside the book that you did.
Yes, and that's what I'm happy about. You're able to read it, and I'm hoping that they like it enough to stick around for, you know, issue 2 and 3 when we do those. Also, just found out today, I got to turn it in tonight, early in the morning. The Christmas ones will be up for solicit by next week. So we're doing the Christmas ones, Monsters number 8, oversized issue. I'm trying to get 30 to maybe 33 pages, as many pages I can put in that thing. And it's going to be the final chapter to what was in the Kickstarter, right? It's going to be the final of it. We will do Monsters 9, but it ends in a cliffhanger and all that. So I'm getting ready to do those. I have a bunch of I have to have the covers. Okay, the solicitation was turned into Lunar. Now they want some sample covers, right? And the wrapper. So the wrapper, I've come up with one which you might change, but it's more like it's wrapping paper, but it has my little skull logo all over it, like in red and green. And I might try to add something. Not as cool as the Halloween, because you can make it so simple with just black and orange. It looks awesome. But we're trying to do something where I got to get the covers. The covers are done. I got to add the what do you call it? The trade dress to them.
Right.
Then there's going to be more. I got to get work on those, like Krampus covers, a snowman cover, some elves, some fireplace with body parts on the stockings, all these kind of covers.
Oh, stockings with the legs in them. Huh.
Yes.
Oh no!
Exactly.
No,
with blood everywhere. I think those are going to be some awesome ones. So to me, it's a great time if you're a retailer at all. If you do, online, brick and mortar, whatever, you're going to have Monsters 8 and Monster and the Wolf, both blind bags, for October 1st to the end of the year. And that's really, honestly, you would also have Monster and the Wolf 2 out in December, because it's every other month, October. Yeah. So you'll also hit that. I haven't decided yet on what covers I'm going to do on it, or how many Lunar will allow us to do yet. But we're seeing if we can get 5.
Mark, Matt, you asked earlier if I was going to be where I was going to be Saturday, front or back. Up at the shop. It depends on what time you get there. You get there earlier, I'll be in the front. You get there later, I'll be in the back. So come in early.
But can't wait. This is I think it's going to be huge for the comic industry, these blind bags, because again, no one's ever done all the covers themselves, plus the interiors might. So basically no one's ever did a blind bag like this. Battle Beast was, I want to say 13 covers, maybe less.
Right. And some of them, one of the interesting things with Battle Beast was that you could get the second issue in the Battle Beast number 1. One of the things they gave you was the second issue. That was in some of the blind bags. And then
Wow.
some of the blind bags was the crossover between Invincible and Spider-Man that Marvel did
Like a reprint of that, right?
years
Yeah.
ago. So those were like super rare. And then there were some black and whites and things like that. But I did think it was cool that you could get a totally different comic in the bag.
Yes.
I thought that was cool. But if you look at some other recent things like DC, it wasn't a blind bag, but DC did the first appearance of Crypto in a bag with, and each one of, theoretically there were going to be two winners that got a golden ticket that would allow them to go to the
premiere, right?
Los Angeles premiere of the Superman movie with the cast and crew and all that stuff. What an awesome prize, right? I was excited for that. I thought that was going to be amazing. We still don't know to this day if anybody ever won it.
Oh man.
They completely dropped the ball on finishing the promotion so that people knew, like, oh man, I wish that had been me, but God, that's awesome. I'm glad that guy got to go and do that.
Right.
You have to finish the thought so that people know that something was won and it wasn't just a lie. Because first of all, did anybody win anything? Was that just a lie to get people to buy more books?
Yeah.
And then if you look at
Yeah.
Batman #1, Matt Fraction has taken over writing Batman here this month. And not to mention they misprinted a facsimile edition of the first appearance of Crypto and had to reissue those books back. That was so stupid. But anyway, Matt Fraction's taken over Batman, and they're doing a blind as a bat blind bag for Batman #1. And it's all just the base covers, except for every now and again you might get one of the 1 in 500 or maybe the 1 in 1,000 variants. But the chances of doing that are so ridiculously slim that it might as well not exist. It's ridiculous. So people are not excited about it. Retailers are not excited about it because there's nothing collectible in these blind bags unless you're one of just the total lottery. Hey, I won the lottery and I got this one book. There's nothing exciting.
I wanted to do so many covers like that was because basically you go in there, you buy 30 books. I'm hoping you might end up with 30 different covers. That would be awesome. That we are trying to make sure they have a good assortment to every retailer. Whoever gets them, because I don't want it to be where what if a guy buys 10 bags from you at Haven, goes home, comes back the next day, all 10 of these are the same, Josh. What's going on? That's bad for you. That's horrible for me. So I'm looking at it.
And it's not my fault and it's not your fault. It's the distributor's fault.
Right. But we talked to the printer who does they do the same thing. They do blind bags for DC. And they said, oh, we're going to make sure what mix, we'll make sure it's a good mix so every box, the way they do it in trading cards, they mix it by boxes. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like action figures, right?
Yep.
So they know how many are in there, right? So hopefully that's how they'll do it. I don't really know, but they promise us a good assortment. Say too much money is gonna be a problem. That's awesome. But
I don't know, man. You just signed something this past weekend that said "Fresh Out of Monsters."
Yes, I did. That was the last book.
That was the CGC guy.
Oh, that's
the
right.
CGC guy who was witnessing. He was coming over to the booth the whole weekend to witness signatures, right?
That's right.
And he came up at the end with a blank cover, and he's like, "This was a lot of fun. It was great." He said, "Would you?" He came to me like I'm your agent or something. A lot of people were doing that. They were coming to me like I'm your agent, and so I just acted like I was. And he's like, do you think he would sign something like that if it just said like "Fresh Out of Monsters" or "No More Monsters"? Just thought that'd be a fun thing to have. And he's the CGC witness, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. Mark will be happy to do that. That's funny.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
But I had people asking me like if they could get very specific remarks of things. I'm like, no, Mark's not going to draw that. Mark doesn't have time. I said, if you want to do that, reach out to Mark about a commission.
And then that's the thing.
He doesn't have time for that either, but I told him to do that.
I have a lot of times where they'll bring up a sketch cover. Keep it with you, Mark. Take months, and then you can. And I never even tell them a price. Here's the problem on something like that. I rarely do sketch covers So if I did one, it would be, I would want to do it myself and put it on eBay to figure out what the going value is. Because I have no idea if I did one, what it would be.
Just
You're your own
let me
flipper?
and Alan handle that part for you. We
Well,
got
you
you
were in
covered there.
Josh number, you were in Monsters #1, Josh. So they see you and go, oh, well, that guy, he's got to be high up in the Mark Spears business because he's in issue 1. First, what is it? Third panel, I think. Second panel, maybe.
Right, the second panel. It's right there. It is not me.
Another cool thing that I got yesterday or the day before, Spitzer's, the shirts will be out, I would think within a month.
So before Halloween?
Spitzer's, and I think they're going to go be in Spirit Halloween as well.
So the important question, how big do they go?
You know what? Let me look to see if it says the size on it. I actually got pictures of the actual shirts. They've already started making them.
Well, while you do that, I'm going to show y'all that something that I picked up Saturday that y'all did not see it. But you know they had that reprint of G.I. Joe 21 with a con exclusive cover.
Yes.
Well, I took mine to Larry Hama and got him to personalize it for me.
You son of a gun.
That was also at the same time that I got my G.I. Joe 1 signed.
I got my G.I. Joe #1 signed. I got my G.I. Joe number 20 signed or 21 signed. I got 3 prints from him. He has like scans of a couple of pages from G.I. Joe number 21. And they're scans of like the old original artwork. So it's got all the stains on the bottom of the page and stuff like that too, where it's just 40 plus years old. Freaking awesome. And then one of my favorites, he's got the challenge coins for the Fort Wadsworth Chaplain's Assistant Motor Pool. So the military does all those challenge coins, right? I'm part of AMCOM. I'm part of Indo-PACOM. I'm part of the Missile Defense Agency. And they have these challenge coins, or if you participated in a particular mission or whatever. So now I've got that one, and I have the one from Sergeant Slaughter for being in the Clutch Crew. So I've got these 2 challenge coins that people here in Huntsville are going to be like, oh, I don't have this one. What? Because they're all very collectible, right? So people, they're always proud of the ones they got. They're like, oh, I don't have this one. What is this? And I'm just going to make them guess. They're like, what in the world did you do for the Fort Wadsworth Chaplain's Assistant's Motor Pool? How did you get a challenge coin from that? And I'm like, I'm special.
I have to write Sergeant Slaughter's. You know, I almost gave the guy the agent his card back. Remember?
That was hilarious.
I was so nervous.
I already followed up with him, by the way. I followed up with him, sent him an email, and was like, "Hey, it was great to meet you.
Great.
Let's talk some more." Yeah,
I'm going to email him probably tomorrow and follow up with him about my goal.
About what you talked to him about.
I want that to happen, man.
I do too.
I want it to happen so bad. So we won't release it yet, but we'll something good cooking. That's what we're hoping. So yeah, I'm going to follow up because I don't want it to go too long without going ahead and writing him and see, because I don't want to get my hopes up too much and then it can't. But I think we can work something out there. So we're going to see.
I absolutely think so, because he was pretty adamant that he could make that happen. And I've already got a million ideas of what that could look like, and I'm super excited to see what your brain is cranking on.
I'm hoping it'll be not even just a one-off, and it would be even more. Because, dude, I mean, who knows what we could do there? I got tons.
He had a monster shirt.
Oh, compliment! I thought he said complaints. I read it.
This is the same dude who wore a monster shirt for the Haven interview with Channel 19.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, he's on TV wearing your shirt.
Is that coming tomorrow?
Yes, it is tomorrow at I think 5 or 6 o'clock.
I need to write my mama on Daddy.
Make sure you post that to the Facebook page so I don't miss it.
Yeah.
Oh, I did pick up some Mark Spears books.
That's a good question. That's a good question, Mark. CGC won't call the Haven exclusive a Haven exclusive. They call it a VHS exclusive. no matter that they set it on their paperwork, but they won't put it on the label. And that's the one I got a 9.9 on, and I'm so excited about it, but they don't have it labeled as the Haven exclusive.
It's probably because back then that was a Kickstarter, right? So we didn't, in the back of the book when it's a King Spot, it'll say, so, Comic Tom exclusive or, another comic store exclusive, and they'll call it that. So that one is probably because of that reason.
But just tell them to correct it.
Yeah.
You get on the phone with those CGC guys and tell them, look, you know what's good for you.
I'll put you in the camel clutch.
That's right.
Before we go any further, I posted this earlier. I'm going to repost it now. I did check the website. The only thing that is left, it looks like it is the foil cover for the Jaws variant. Everything else is sold out. So if y'all want that, you better jump on it now.
I do have a couple of copies, not very many, of some of the exclusives. Don't you worry, Daniel. I got you your entire set because I know you had specifically asked for that. But I do have a couple of copies of a couple of the Farley Con exclusives that I will have at Haven on Saturday.
Yeah, and if you're out of those, let me know. I probably got some of my APs or something that if you have some customers that want them, just let me know and I can give them to you. Also, okay. Did you grab you some G.I. Joes?
You're darn right I did.
Okay. I just want to make sure. So if y'all need G.I. Joe, hit up Josh. There's some all kinds of good ones out there. I still got some here. So eventually I want to, if I ever get time, have a companion piece for that one. So they would line up together. And it either be more of the Dreadnoughts, or it could be the more Dreadnoughts with his sister and brother or something like that. Or it could be that with Cobra Commander, Destro, Major Blood. There's so many different ways you could go.
Well, you just saw that they announced at San Diego Comic-Con that one of the big upcoming storylines in the G.I. Joe, the Energon Universe G.I. Joe series is, I believe it's called War of the Dreadnoughts or the Dreadnought War. So that's coming. So that's a good opportunity.
I was talking to Clutch, who we did the cover together, and I said, we should have just made it, didn't do the blue one at all, and made it to where it glows in the dark blue. That would have been
amazing.
That would
have been
Are you
better.
kidding?
So we might eventually do another Zartan and have that happen, or make it where he said, well, we should have done lenticular where you just move.
Yeah, that could have been cool too.
That would have been good too. But glow in the dark Zartan would have been interesting because it would have did the play on the light.
I feel seen. I feel seen.
I grabbed 3 books at the show from you, but only one of them was the Farley Con exclusive, and that was this one right here.
That's such a sick cover.
Well, if y'all need any of the other ones for your personal collection, let me know.
My big thing was I never could get back over to the booth at Huntsville to get this one, so I finally got it.
You mean that one?
Yeah, that one right there. And then I had been wanting this one. And as you notice, none of them are signed because I did not want your signature scuffing up the art.
None of mine are signed either. And I thought that was hilarious because I'm like, we got no time. Mark is like jam bam busy over here. I was like, I can get with Mark later.
Yeah,
there was somebody that wrote, I won't say who. I think it's still on Facebook. I haven't read it. My wife read it to me. Somebody, I think it's when we was posting that we had some leftover books on the website. So I don't know who said it or whatever, but one guy gets on there and says, $35 for a signature is crazy. I'm not going to read these books anymore because that's just insane, blah, blah, blah. Which I don't understand. If Sergeant Slaughter's autograph was $400, I'm not going to go, well, I'm done with Sergeant Slaughter. You know what I'm saying? I would just don't buy the autograph. But he then goes on, someone else says something, well, that's fine, less people in line. He then goes on to say, Mark's signature looks like a school kid doesn't know how to write his name because it's all like uppercase blocks. And he says that anybody can duplicate that. It's just it's the worst signature out there in comic books. And I was like, wow, that's pretty harsh. So
that is pretty harsh.
But there's gonna be haters. Everybody ain't gonna love you.
But see, I like it when you can actually read the signature and it's not just a couple of squiggly lines.
That's my thing. Is I might get, as I do it, get more creative with it, and make it where maybe the M has a longer line like McFarlane does or something. But I like it because it's easy to read. I like the paint; it makes it stand out. A lot of artists I see do things where I have no idea that's that artist's signature. I can't read it at all.
If you look at your signature, Nathan Zerdy's signature, Clayton Crane's signature, they're very clear and easy to read. And there's a reason that those signatures are highly valued.
Well, Liefeld has the chiseled signature. That was his old,
Yes.
I love that. I have some of the Youngblood that I did with him. They're his normal signature. And it's just it's just, I can't, I guess maybe it's an R or whatever. So if I was getting those personally, I want it to say Liefeld and go like that.
Yeah.
Just the same way as when I do sign, a lot of times I don't even sign my work anymore because I'm like, people know this is me just by the look of it. But if I do sign it, I sign it the exact same way I sign books to where it matches. I want it to be easy to read. No one could confuse it, saying, well, you got that sign, but I can't read it. So, but you're going to have people that do.
Mike Grell has a cool signature too.
Okay. Yeah. My whole thing was
Expo.
I didn't want to take time from other people, and you were signing enough because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, hell, I can just send them a text message in a couple of weeks, and we have a meeting at Taco Bell.
Haven, and we'll settle up then because
we'll have a meeting at Taco Bell.
Yeah, we'll have a meeting at Taco Bell. I'll get with.
And I appreciate that because that's time that I can sign stuff for you anytime. Yeah, those people, it's that's their special moment, and don't let them wait in line while I'm signing something for someone I can see in 10 minutes. So,
well, I mean, had it been a slower show where there were dead times, we would have done it. But no, absolutely, let those people go through because we can see you other times. We know where you live.
I was going to ask you, if Sergeant Slaughter, has he ever been to the Huntsville Expo?
I believe he did, but it was one of those.
It was a COVID year.
Yeah, I think it was the COVID year.
I think it was either the COVID year or it was the first time that William Shatner was there. And Shatner just sucked all the air out of the room the first time he was there.
That would have been in 23. I don't remember him being there then.
I don't remember that either. But I think
he would have been over there talking to him, I think, just to say hi.
I think Frank Frazetta does have a cool signature. You're absolutely right about that. Yes.
Oh, that's Frazetta.
100%. But I think having Sergeant Slaughter at the expo, having some of these other guys at the expo, and having like a G.I. Joe coalition, I think we could get the Joe fans to turn out.
Wait, it was in 2020. And
it was COVID year.
Yeah.
It was
I just looked it up and Googled it. So, dude, that's so that year, the expo was held later than normal.
Yep. And COVID was still a thing big time at the time.
And it probably, So, dude, he hasn't got his due. So, we need to, I'm going to see if maybe, but that'd be awesome if he can come back to Huntsville. And maybe there'll be a reason. We'll see if we can cook up something.
Maybe 1 million reasons.
All
right. Well, folks, it is time for us to call it a night because we have to talk about some things with Mark off camera. So we will let you guys go. Y'all have an awesome night. Thank you so much for joining us. Farley Con was great. Rocky, if you're watching this, phenomenal show, put on great. And that payday, that homemade payday candy bar thing that was in the green room there. I don't know if that was who the lady was that made that. She just said Nana on her shirt. I proposed to her instantly because that was like one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. I was like, oh my God, that was amazing.
I do got one thing I want to say, and I want it to be on YouTube so it's trapped on here forever and it can never be taken off. Not that, but this. Melissa, thank you for babysitting me. That was like awesome. I love you. You are an amazing woman. And thank you for putting up, quite frankly, plug your ears, kids. Thank you for putting up with our shit for the weekend. You definitely did that.
That is so true. That is so true. That's a good thing she's got a sense of humor because we would have made her life miserable otherwise.
She loved it. She loved it. Every minute of it.
But thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Tune in next week. We'll be talking comics and all kind of stuff. We have a blast every single week. So thank you guys, and we will catch y'all next week.